Out with Rico and Karla is about to go live online. Catch select moments of All Out hit music, All Out celebrity interviews, All Out showbiz and sports news, All Out fun. Mid-mornings on the Monster. Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, or twitch.tv/Monster RX931. Your All Out hosts, Rico Robles and Karla Aguas. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Gotta have the peace
Hola!
sign
Good
out.
morning! Hi,
gotta have
everybody!
gotta have the peace sign out. You know how it is. Good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday, and we did mention to you guys a double header. Now we're gonna start things off with a very talented singer, Karla.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm
Imagine.
really excited for this. I mean, we international or whatever.
I mean, we cannot quite fly to Singapore, but we're gonna
Yeah.
talk to somebody who's there. And how does it feel to actually win, the overall talent show a few years
Mm-hmm.
back, and also come back with a vengeance with a couple of tracks, and let's just say that it's a hit, it's a mainstream hit right now. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome first time on the show. I think he's coming live from Singapore. Give it up for Sezairi. What's up, man?
Hi,
Hey, how are you guys?
Cesare!
Thanks for
We're
having me.
good. Oh, thanks
Nice-
for hanging out with us. I mean, like Rico said, we can't exactly fly to Singapore, so it's nice to be able to have you on the show. Before anything else, how are you? How have you been?
I'm good. I'm healthy. Things here have been okay. I hope you guys out there are doing okay as well.
I'm just gonna laugh.
We're
As okay as we
trying.
all can be, things are
Yes.
picking up here as well. As in yesterday, it was announced that things are getting a bit weird and funny. Cases are going back up again. So I mean, everywhere it's on alert now. So I just hope everyone's keeping safe.
and
That is
and
so true.
in these times for you, what's been
Mm-hmm.
keeping you busy? Is it creating music, or is it just enjoying the hard work, the labor that you have done, and just
Yeah.
watching the songs go up the charts?
Wow, this was a surprise because when the pandemic started, I was actually going to start on writing my fourth album, and the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic kind of put a halt to that because the whole plan was to travel overseas and write for a pretty extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout this whole pandemic, it's been real tough, man. I think just trying to work with people from home. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like the simplest thing, but actually just creating something out of nothing, especially music and art, being confined in a
Mm-hmm.
space for me has never worked out well. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm glad that we're here where we are. I'm glad that we've gotten here so far, and I just hope it'll all be over soon so that we can continue to see each other in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cesare, whenever we speak to artists, we always ask them how they are creatively because, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, your plan was okay, fourth album, travel and write and get inspired. When the pandemic first hit, how did that affect you emotionally and creatively? Like, did you decide that you were going to pause for like a week and not think about anything at all? Or did it motivate you and drive you to be like, you know what? I'm going to make the most out of the situation. I'll write here at home. I mean, how did it affect you as an artist?
You know, I wish I could say that I was super motivated to get up and do stuff and
Mm-hmm.
like be my full self, but I know a lot of people can feel me when I say this, that that's not always the case. You don't
Yeah.
always feel up to be the best version of yourself. And the first half of the pandemic, I'm not gonna lie, I was in a pretty deep hole. I released a really depressing song. I think I wrote a pretty depressing song and released that, and I think that was a really cool snapshot of what that time was like for me. So last year I released this song called Raindrops, and it was really just how I felt being in the pandemic, just behind my window looking at the rainfall from the inside.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that pretty much sums it up. I was in a
Mm-hmm.
complete block, and I usually work, and this isn't great, but I work in phases too. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
a couple months in the year where I'm writing nonstop, and then I'll have a couple months a year where I don't do anything and I do something else. So it's
Yeah.
always been like in phases for me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part about this pandemic, it just feels like one extremely long phase. You know,
Yes.
like there's no summer, there's no like fall, there's no whatever. It's just one
Yeah.
long thing that we still have not gotten out of. And I mean, not just me, man. Like I think there are people out there who are suffering much more than
Mm.
me. And then we're here talking about a creative block, but I mean there are people out there in the world actually suffering. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It still makes me at the end of the day feel like I'm privileged to have a roof over my head, and not be so affected by this pandemic as much as other people are.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think like the depressing bit is the realities of the world. They just hit you in the face this past year. I think that's the
Yeah.
hardest thing to deal with. Yeah.
Now, with everything that's been unfolding for you, and you did mention, being in these places that you felt that emotional place. Did you ever try to change the way you would create music? Did it become more worldly? Did it become more awareness type of music, or you still stuck to the sound that you were making?
I think for me, the thing I realized on early in my career is that I want and only not only want, but I know that I'm really good at writing love songs.
Hmm.
So
Uh-huh.
whatever it is, it always changes, right? Like I think every year, everything that I put out, it sounds different from the other. And I think sonically that has to change. Like the color palette that you use can and should change, but I think the content and the heart of the music has always been about people and has always been about people's relationships with people. So
Hmm.
when you hear my music and the way it's evolved around over the years, I think it generally feels like the same person, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to be able to, because music is so vast now, and your access to it is so immediate and so much, right? It's so
Mm-hmm.
incredible that you have so many colors to paint with now, I think. And that's the incredible portion about being an artist in this day and age.
Mm. Sezairi, you said earlier that, in the middle of this pandemic, when everything happened, you wrote Raindrops, you released it. You've been on this journey of self introspection. You've really been thinking about your position, where you're at creatively, artistically, in life in general, which is why your latest song, Blue, is like an extension of that as well. And Monsters, for
Yeah.
everyone listening on air, you will get to hear it in just a bit. Right now, in the background, we've got one of your very, very popular ones, It's You, which the Monsters here love. But can you walk us through just how intentional you were in terms of releasing a song like Blue? Because it's like a conversation, right? You talk about being vulnerable,
Correct.
sharing a space, like just what love is and how you are as a person. So, what exactly is Blue about in a nutshell? And what made you feel compelled to release it into the world despite everything that's going on?
I have explained this song in so many interesting ways that I keep learning new things about it as I try to
Oh,
explain it to people too. But in a nutshell, it's kind of like, so personal experience, right?
Hmm.
um I've never moved in with anyone, and I've only moved in with my partner once we were married. So this song in a nutshell is really about when you are in a confined space with someone,
Hmm.
even though you've known them for many, many years, you'll only truly know them when you live with them and when you have to face them
Hmm.
24 hours and there's no running away. There's no like, I'm out. Like when I'm out is out
yes.
of the question. That's
Hmm.
when I think you truly learn about someone. And that's when I think they really start to unfold, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone is just like a shield of your own trauma. It's just
Hmm.
like it's piling on and piling on, and the more time you spend with them, the more they unfold for you. And I think
Yeah.
especially when you move in with someone, and especially um when you have to fix your problems in a confined space, when there is no
Hmm.
space for you to take a breath from each other, that's when I think the relationship is usually make or break.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm very thankful that in my relationship, I have someone who is extremely understanding of my situation. And she is my muse, basically. So she's like, she is the person, I think, that I look up to the most. So whenever I think about writing songs, I always pick certain things that I love about her. And there's so many things, right? And the one thing that I really appreciate about her is that there's this judgmental free safe zone that we both
Mm-hmm.
have, that we can both tap out and go like, okay, let's dial it back to zero and let's talk about what
Oh.
this is really about, you know? And I feel
Mhm.
like between people, that's someplace that's incredibly hard to get to because of your ego, because of your trauma, because of your anger, because of the heat of the moment, you know? All these things are really hard to move forward with because of all these extra emotions and baggage that you carry with you. So the song really is just a safe space
Mhm.
that even in the times my heart is feeling blue, there's a little room inside for me and you. You know, that's basic.
Hey.
That's the chorus. This is basically it. It's a freaking simple song, and the
Oh,
words just and that's it for me. Just simple words that hit really hard.
And,
it's
you know,
beautiful.
the cool part about the story you shared is that conversations are not just when you guys are mad at each other. It's actually just
Exactly.
everything under, under the sun and under the moon. Now,
Yeah.
for those that are tuning in, we are talking to Sezairi. He is joining us from Singapore. Now, years back, you did join Singaporean Idol. So how was
Mm.
that experience? Can you share with us that experience?
Do you still
I was,
remember it?
of course, I was kicked out of college. I was kicked
Wow.
out of college. I was studying music and I had just got an agent and I was doing like so many gigs that I didn't turn up for class. And then I got kicked out of school, right?
Mhm.
And that was a sobering moment for me because my dad had
Yeah.
I don't come from a very well-to-do family. So my dad had used up all of his savings to put me through this expensive music college. And then I flunk out. And the day that I flunk out, I remember I got a letter from the police force because in Singapore you have to serve. I don't know if you guys know this, but you have to serve 2 years of national service if you're a male above
Oh,
18. So
really?
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of like Korea.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you have to serve 2 years in the army, the police force, or the civil defense force, depending on where you get drafted, right?
Mhm.
So I was going to the police force, but I also had a letter to go to music school, so I chose that.
Mhm.
And then when I got kicked out of music school, I saw an ad that same day. I saw an ad on TV, and it was one of those voiceovers that go, "Are
Mhm.
you gonna be the next Singapore Idol?" And I was like, I was in a moment of complete mania. I was like, I'm so sure I can win this.
Mhm.
And then I went to the audition, which my friend pulled me out of bid for because anxiety. But I managed to get through the auditions, and for some reason, I managed to make it all the way through to the finals,
Mhm.
which I received a letter that I was going to get drafted into national service 4 days after the finals. So I sang at the national stadium in front of like 10,000 people, and then the next couple of days, I was in an army camp in some island.
Oh
Like
my
with
gosh.
yeah, it was the weirdest experience because for the next 2 years I was a kind of a soldier,
Mhm.
and that was kind of the start of my music career. It didn't really go anywhere because while I was writing my first album contractually with the whole idol thing, I was also serving my national service. So that was a really great learning experience, I think, for me as an adult human being, to be thrown a curveball like that
That's
early on.
awesome. That's awesome, Cesare. I mean, that just goes to show it tests you, right? And it really
Yeah, it
stretches
does.
you to see what you're capable of and how well can you multitask with
Yeah.
everything that's going on. I mean, what was the initial reaction of your family when you won then? Because, like you said, right, you didn't really come from a well to do family. Your dad had spent his money to get you through that school and then you flunk out. But hey, you win the national competition and now everyone's like, oh
Let's
my God,
I'm
we
sure
love
y'all
your
can relate to this Asian parent thing that I'm about to tell you,
music.
but my dad told me he loved me for the
Mhm.
first time, okay, on national TV. And I was just like,
Oh.
I'm like, why now? Like there is a HD camera on my face. Can we not do this now? And it was just the most hilarious moment. But yeah, what an
And
That's
Asian
so
parent thing to do.
sweet.
I felt like he was so pressured to do it, and he was like so. And I really appreciate him, because he's not the kind of guy that would just that even in private, it's not something that he would say, So like
Yeah,
to be able to say that on national TV, I think that was a really really special moment for me.
that's
Now,
so sweet.
what's the prize that you got other than, of course, getting an "I love you" from Dad? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? What else is the prize? Did it involve, like, did you get a new car, or what do you win?
I got a recording contract,
Mhm.
and that's about it, actually. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Hey.
I technically got my wish of like becoming a full-time recording artist. And
Yeah.
since then, that's kind of the only job I've ever had, really.
Mhm.
And I'm
Wow.
like 10 years into my career, and my friends are all like, "Oh, I'm changing to this job in this sector," and this is. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've only had one job.
No,
Before this I was a waiter, So I'm like, I
Uh,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I
Cesare,
don't
that's
know what.
amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, it just goes to show that, if you really stick it out, you work hard, you believe in yourself, and you trust the process, things can really happen. And look at
trust
you. I
the
mean,
process. Yeah,
10 years and you're still making such incredible music. I mean, good for
thank you.
you. Not everybody gets to have that,
I'm
They don't get
lucky.
to live
Yeah,
out their dream. And do you ever feel a sense of pressure like 10 years into it? Like, do you ever doubt yourself, or do you have moments where you're like, oh man,
oh,
my
always.
next album, my next couple of songs have to be really good because I've been doing this for so long? I mean, walk us
Yeah,
through that. Do you ever have moments where you're like, shucks, am I still doing the right thing? Is this
all the
still for
time.
me?
My process
Mm.
is I'll really like it the first half hour I write it, and then I'll hate it the next 2 days, and then and then I like it again towards the end of the week. So like I know that I get overexcited when something new is out. So I have like plans in place, meaning I have like songs that are like in the burner for them to kind of get warm, And I have
mhm.
like a method to all this madness, and but I think that only comes with years and years of having to schedule yourself around yourself. I
Mhm.
don't know if this
Mm.
this makes sense because everyone else has a job to go to.
Mhm.
I don't. I kind of have to wake up and create my own opportunity and maximize my own time.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
the privilege of that also is that I get to maximize my own time. No one gets to tell me what to do. There's a privilege and the pressure. So the pressure you were talking about, I really do feel to it like every day, but at the same time the pressure is being outweighed by the privilege of knowing that there's nothing else I'd rather be doing, and there are 60,000 songs being uploaded every day,
Mhm.
and mine's at
Whoa.
least doing okay. Like that's a complete privilege to have people relate to what you're saying. There's nothing
Yeah.
better than that. There's no money in the world that you can give me that can replace that feeling of
Mhm.
someone finally understanding what I'm trying to say. And I think that's a longing that's a deep longing that every person feels inside. You want to feel like you belong to something. You want to feel connected. You want to feel like someone understands you. And I think those are the most important things to me in my life. And if money comes, it comes. Like if the song's a
Yeah.
hit, yeah, sure, whatever. If but if that first thing doesn't happen, then it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
You just take it and run with
I
it.
love him. Aw.
Here on the show, we do have some, all out random questions that we
Yeah,
love to
sure.
ask. And,
Cool.
especially now that, you are world famous, who was the most famous person you've ever met?
A few actually. I sang a song for Kristen Stewart at a like I
Wow!
surprised her at the press junket for New Moon. I met
Cool.
Yeah, I met the cast. I opened for Taylor Swift's concert in Singapore in 2011,
Mhm.
and she heard me sing, and then she didn't start her concert, but she got someone to knock on my door and said that they wanted to meet me. So like her manager was knocking on my door and said, "Can you hurry up? Taylor wants to meet you right now, and she has to start." And I'm like, "What now? I'm half dressed. I just got off stage." And then she's like, "Taylor wants to meet you like right now. She just wants to say thank you." And I was like, "Wow, cool." And I ran over to her dressing room, and she called me, but she was like, "Sezairi, you sounded amazing." I was like, "No freaking way, you are Taylor Swift."
Oh.
Yeah, and that was like at the start of my career, and I was just completely blown away by they say people always think about like how celebrities are in person, But
Mm-hmm.
after meeting a lot of celebrities, I can tell you that they're just people, man.
Mhm.
They're just
Really?
they're just people trying to be their best people, you know? And
Yeah.
and sometimes you get to see the good bits. So like, and she was super nice, and she was super welcoming. I really appreciated that she took the time to talk to me. Yeah, that was
Oh,
kind of an unforgettable moment. I met Apple Diep.
Mhm.
this is so cool.
Yeah, it's so random. He came to one of my shows in Singapore, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Sezairi." Yeah,
Cesare,
uh,
you are so cool. Like, do you
I
honestly
kind.
hear how freaking casual? You're just like, yeah, I've met
In the
the entire
Mom,
Apple
this
entire
is
Lab.
cast
just like
of
my life has
Twilight.
my life has been a complete privilege, and my life has been a complete roller coaster. So anytime I can share some stories, it's always fun, because I don't get,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this time, you don't get a lot of opportunity to talk, and I love talking.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Aww.
so
Well,
thanks
we
for
love
having me.
hearing your stories. Okay, I've got a random question.
Okay.
At the start of lockdown, everybody started turning to new hobbies and new skills that they wanted to develop and whatnot. What did
Oh
you get
man,
up to? Did you bake banana bread? Did you make bracelets? Did you like sing everything all day? Did you become a master chef? Like,
I
what
didn't
did you
exactly
do?
I didn't exactly pick up a new skill.
Uh huh.
However, I was brushing up on a skill that I think I do have, but started to take really seriously, and that is playing ranked Dota 2. I don't know if you guys.
Wow.
Oh wait a minute. Dota 2 is really popular in the Philippines, right? Okay, sorry, but I've been playing that game for 12 years now, and that's like my all-time favorite game. So like I probably spend a lot more time than Filipinos than you think online. But yeah, I've been playing it kind of semi seriously, and I'm a huge gamer.
Mhm.
Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
staring at my rig right now, and the lights are kind of killing my eyes. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm a huge video game nerd. I've been playing
Mhm.
video games since you could insert floppy disks in PCs,
Oh
Oh,
and
my
wow.
yeah,
gosh.
it's just my thing. It's just I really love it. I've always had a gaming PC since I was like 10 years old, and that's
Aw.
just yeah, PC gaming is just my thing. So I've been playing
Celebrities.
Dota too. I've been
Mhm.
yeah, I've been trying to get good, but I'm only like in the scale of the rank, I'm only like slightly above average.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. You'll
No,
get there.
I'll get
yeah,
there. I'll
it
get there.
it takes a lot of practice. And do you see yourself making music for a video game?
Oh,
That
that's
would
so
be
cool.
awesome. That would
Mhm.
be awesome. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
could see
gosh.
myself making music for video games.
It would be like, something else. But here's the thing though, in our all out questions as well, you're making money now. What was the first big purchase that you have made? And what was it?
Wow, crazy. Wow. I don't know. It's so weird asking someone who didn't spend a lot of money growing up, and like
Mhm.
I think when I won the Idol competition and I finally got that after 2 years, I finally got that huge check. That was backlogged for me cuz I couldn't take it,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um wow, I remember walking into, and this was 2011, right? I remember
Mhm.
walking to the Apple store
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
was like, this. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was I was 21, 22 years old. I was
Mhm.
young and naive. I had money, and I'm a tech nerd, and I just bought a MacBook Pro and an
Mhm.
iMac, and I just bought everything. It was insane. That was the first time that I spent an exorbitant amount of money on like gear, and I was kind of rationalizing it to myself. Okay, I'm gonna invest in myself to start making music, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
rationale. Like, okay, I'm gonna get
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get more. Yeah, bought a new guitar. I bought a $4,000 guitar for
Mhm.
for cheap.
Mhm.
Then I dropped it and broke it. It's like
Oh.
it's so depressing. So now I'm super careful with my money and what I spend now. I will look at, even when I want to buy a key, like I'm super into mechanical keyboards now.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm into keyboards, and even I've been looking at keyboards for the past 4 months, and I still haven't decided what to buy. Because at the back of my mind, I know that if I buy it, it'll be endless. Like I need to buy the keycaps, then I gotta change the cables, then I gotta lose the switches, And I'm that kind of guy. When I'm into a niche, I would dive right into it like hardcore, and you won't
Yeah.
see me for the next 2 weeks. So I'm pretty much like self-restraint now in my 30s, just like try
Mm.
your best to, you've got other responsibilities. And that's
You're
a
an
really
adult.
valuable lesson too, that
Mhm.
because I didn't come from a family that had enough to like put aside money to save for this and that, like it was always paycheck to paycheck, and it's like that for
Yes.
most people also. And it was like a very very valuable learning lesson for me to like, the future is as important as the now. Yeah.
Ooh,
Hey, knowledge.
very okay. I got a
Yeah.
question. Last
Knowledge.
last few questions. We know
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
busy. Like you said, you're married now. You
Yeah.
and your wife living the life. Pandemic happens. You're locked in. Can't leave the house.
Yeah.
24/7 in each other's faces. What's one thing that you never realized about her that you realized in lockdown? Like, is she an insane cleaner? Does she like love to rearrange things like the furniture, like, or any quality that surprised you? Like, oh man, I never knew that about you.
She's really messy.
Oh,
I never knew. Like when before we were married, we were dating for 7 years. So like we
wow.
we were technically like high school sweethearts. And like it's so funny when people listen to the song "It's You," they're like, "Oh my god, this song is so full of love." And when I think about our relationship for the past like decade, it's like, oh, it better be. It's so funny, but yeah, like I've always seen her as this kind of like fairy. She's just like she's incredibly smart, incredibly resourceful. She has the best ideas, and she's the first person that I look to for knowledge, because she knows everything about everything,
Mhm.
but
Mm-hmm.
she leaves a mess behind her. And she's so focused, because she's so focused on many things at one time. Like
Mhm.
she's just slightly messy on like her desk area where we work together, and
Mhm.
I'm messy in other places, but my desk has to always be clean. So like my desk is always
Mm-hmm.
clean because I'm facing it, but hers is always kind of like pencils everywhere. And like,
Aww.
yeah, and I'm like, wow, this is funny. Yeah, I never thought that you'd be like that, but it's kind of adorable as well at the same time. Like,
Yeah,
haha, you're not
Nice.
perfect.
you
Great.
are
Yeah.
human after all, right? I mean,
Yeah.
as we celebrate your great love and the stories of marriage and everything, for sure you've gone through your share of heartbreaks and
Yeah.
heartaches. They do say that singer-songwriters are great people to ask advice from. Do you
Mhm.
Yeah.
have any advice for those that are heartbroken right now?
Not There's no advice for heartbreak. It's like a trial by fire, to be
Mhm.
perfectly honest. I think it's the knowledge that time goes on. That's all you need to know.
Mm.
There Regardless of how you are feeling right now, you need to know that those feelings do not last forever.
Oof.
And those feelings are going to wash away. And whenever I get in this mode of like I cannot control my emotions, and I have to just and I'm overwhelmed by it, I don't know if this will help, right? But I picture sitting by the ocean, because that's what I used to do as a kid. I'll just sit in
Mm-hmm.
front of the sea because I couldn't swim, but I'll just sit in front of the waves and
Mhm.
picture it going in and out. And that's kind of just how I see my worries when I'm really, really stressed. I kind of just force myself to take a deep breath and just picture life as the ocean. It
Mhm.
comes, it goes, it comes again, it goes again, but it'll always be there. And
That's a
that's kind of,
beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Aw.
there's nothing you can do about it but look at it and try to understand it.
Mhm.
And that's
Mm.
all that's all you can do, really. That's life,
Oh.
man. and
Oh.
and and
Gotta
once you
surf.
learn yeah once you learn to surf the waves of life,
Mhm.
that's kind of just that's you. That's Yeah, hang loose, man. That's life. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Cesare, we wish we could have you for longer because, I feel like this would
Thank
be a great
you.
therapy session right
Yeah.
here. But before
Learn
we
so
let
much.
you go,
Yeah.
message to all of your fans, to your Filipino fans as well who are listening now live on air, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch as well, who have been requesting for your songs. What's your message for them?
Firstly, I want to say thank you for your fried chicken. It's the best fried chicken in the world.
Yes, yes.
No cap. Secondly, I've only been to Manila once. And that one time I was in Manila, I remembered so much love from the Filipino people who didn't even know who I was, but embraced me as a human being and as an artist just because I had something to say and you guys were interested to listen, That's how I feel.
Mm.
And I'm
Aw.
so thankful for every opportunity in every different country that I get to go to that people can relate to me on this level because
Mhm.
it's difficult when you live somewhere that speaks multiple different languages, somewhere like Southeast Asia, right? And I'm just appreciative that because I make English music, that I'm able to share this with everyone, and I'm able to do this for a living, and make my songs the soundtrack of your lives, and that's what matters most.
Mm.
So thank you so much for supporting me, and I hope to come to Philippines and perform for you guys. I'd really like to see everyone. Yeah.
Oh, we'd love to have you,
So
Sezairi.
cool.
Thank you
Xavier.
so, so much. I
Thank
mean,
you.
congratulations. Blue is beautiful. We're going to
Thank
make
you.
the monsters listen to it in just a bit. You stay safe and take care, okay? And we look forward to
Likewise.
more music from you. I
Mhm.
mean, what are your socials so people can follow and stay up to date about the music that you're releasing and invite everybody to request for Blue?
Yeah, you can follow me at Sezairi. That's Sezairi on all socials: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm pretty active on Twitter and Instagram. I usually try to reply to everyone. And please request for Blue if you're listening to RX93.1. Really, really appreciate all your love and support. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Oh, there
very
you guys
much.
have it.
Sorry. Take care always. All right. We'll catch you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank
All
you
right.
guys so much for having me. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Cesare. Aw, there you
So cool.
monsters have it. Saying what's up, by the way, to our very own MJ. She's
Hey,
listening in
Emily.
right now and she said, whoa, Cesare seems like such a deep person. He
Mhm.
is. I mean, if his songs don't speak for just how incredible he is, then hopefully this interview gave you monsters a peek at just how beautiful his mind works. Like, Rico, I am refreshed and recharged for the
Oh,
day.
I mean, to get that whole life is just like, a bunch of waves. You just gotta hang loose and just live it,
I
which is true.
know.
You
And
cannot
oh,
control what
just
what
one of
what
those
life gonna
nice
tell you.
friends to talk
Yeah.
to. So
Now
hopefully you
we got
monsters
a
enjoyed.
we
Rico,
got a
yeah?
homie we got a homie from Singapore now that we gotta holler at. You know what I mean?
You mean
You know?
you're gonna holler and bug the
Yeah.
living crap out of him because you like to have friends all around the world so you can go
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah.
No, but thank you, monsters, for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Once again, you can like this video and share it with all of your friends and family who needs some good introspection, just some really good life lessons. This interview was it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We're gonna play his song in just a bit, but for Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, he's Rico Robles Live.
And she is Carla Aguas. Thank you guys for watching.
All right, and like I
Monster exclusive interview only on Manila's hottest